Hello, my name is Gina Pepperman, and today I will do my video reflection on instructional design.
Instructional design involves designing and developing learning experiences that leverage the technological advantages of an online environment and take into account how people learn online. It encompasses the design of online learning programs from start to finish. This includes articulating the learning need and identifying the required exit level outcomes, and then designing the optimal curriculum and delivery model based on that need. Instructional design also involves developing digital learning content, assessments, and platforms, and the interpretation of learning analytics data. So as you can see, it's an exceptionally multifaceted discipline, and instructional designers may be involved in some or all of these aspects.
My interpretation of instructional design is it is the creation of an instructional experience that allows the learner to gain knowledge and skill efficiently and effectively in an appealing way. A well-designed lesson needs to be creative, stylish, relevant, as well as engaging to the learner. Today we will discuss the three main topics that make up instructional design: process, theory, and materials. The process of instructional design provides guidelines that create applicable learning scenarios that will achieve instructional goals. Instructional design's main purpose is to facilitate learning. Two of the most common design models in instructional design are the ITD and the Dick and Carey systematic approach. One of the most commonly used instructional design models is the ITD. There are 5 stages that make up the ITD model. The stages include analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. First, we have the analysis stage. In this first stage, the designer will clarify the problem that needs to be solved and analyze what the learner needs and the goals and objectives that need to be met. The second phase is the design phase. This is where the designer plans strategies that will be used to meet and create the goals and objectives of the training. Third, we move on to the developmental stage. Physical tools are used to create materials for the learners to use in the fourth stage, which is the implementation stage. In this implementation stage, training is delivered. Finally, in the fifth stage, we have the evaluation. In this phase, there are 2 different types of evaluation. The evaluation evaluates the learner with a summative evaluation. It also evaluates the designer to ensure that the materials were implemented correctly. This is also used to revise trainings if needed. Next, we will examine the Dick and Carey systematic approach. Much like the beginning stages of the ITD process, the Dick and Carey model begin with creating instructional goals and completing an instructional analysis based on the learner. This system identifies the behaviors and characteristics of the learner. It also identifies the performance objectives and analyzes what the learner can do and what the learner should be able to do at the end of the training. This process creates specific testable criteria and outlines specific instructional strategies to be implemented in the training. This model has a lot of smaller steps that analyzes the user. The system is very user-specific and can take a lot of time to develop. The second component of instructional design is learning theories. Learning theories describe how learners will receive and process knowledge gained during the learning experience. Although there are several multifaceted learning theories, the 3 that influence instructional design models are behavioral learning theory, the cognitive learning theory, and the constructivist learning theory. The behavioral learning theory can be summarized as learning that occurs through the behavioral response to environmentally sourced stimuli. The focus of the behavioral learning theory resides in the use of reinforcement to drive behavior. Instructional designers can benefit from the use of the reinforcement as a means to train learners to complete instructional objectives that are presented to them. Learning is accomplished by completing tasks through experience and through trial and error. Direct instruction is a behavioral approach to learning. Cognitive learning theory, or cognitivism, puts the learning focus on the individual. Learning is accomplished through cognitive processes such as information processing, symbol manipulation, and knowledge construction. Instructional designers use a more system-like design approach with a focus on the learner when dealing with cognitivism. A great way to incorporate cognitivism is to teach with simulations and virtual reality devices. The constructivist perspective describes learning as a change in the meaning constructed from experience. Learning is constructed by the complex interplay among the learner's existing knowledge and social context and the problem that needs to be solved. The instructional designer should be able to pose good problems, create group learning activities, and guide the process of knowledge through construction. This approach is open-ended, therefore is necessary for the instructional designer to avoid a prescribed curriculum. A great way to implement this is with programming. Materials. This is the actual items created by the designer. Physical items used in instruction include handouts for the face-to-face trainings, as well as the learning platforms where instructors or trainers can place lessons to be housed so the students can perform the activities and listen to videos at their convenience. A great tool to use for this is Canvas. This is an asynchronous tool that is used by many universities across the United States. Another tool that can be used are online chats. The instructor can chat with his learners online and can instruct them on their learning goals and objectives and guide them with the use of Google Hangouts. Video conferencing can also accomplish this, and you can use two tools for that. One is Skype and Big Blue Button. How to be a successful instructional designer.
Leaders, trainers, facilitators. Would you like learners to know how to achieve greater success sooner? Do you want to teach people how they can build their skill set and unleash their potential while succeeding at critical tasks? Of course you do. Create learning experiences that connect, inspire, and engage your learners. Replace tedious sit-and-get training sessions with exciting you and do interactive workshop sessions where people are drawn in by learning the way they learn best and by doing activities that reinforce what they are being taught.
Instructional designers should be prepared to implement various learning processes to their learners. They should implement trainings that are efficient and effective. They should support their learners throughout the training, and they should provide follow-ups to training activities when needed. There are advantages and disadvantages in instructional design. The advantages are that they can be online learners. Lessons can be tailored to the learner. Lessons are adaptable. They are convenient for the learner to access if they are on an online platform, and they are learner-centered. Some of the disadvantages is there are a lot of analysis that varies from group to group, and there is limited knowledge of the participants prior to the development. Impact of instructional design. The main focus is to provide a well laid out training that can benefit the stakeholder. The designs that are created can be utilized to educate students, whether it be in a classroom setting or corporate training of a new program. Educationally, it provides a framework for online learning and allows instructors to structure lessons based on the learner's needs and needed outcome. Private companies are employing instructional designers to bridge the tech gap that has become a divide in society. Companies need their employees to be on top of technology, and instructional technologists are providing the training that is needed. The future of instructional design. There is a promising future in instructional design because so many entities are dependent on technology. While we do not know exactly what all we will be teaching and developing for future learners, one thing is for certain. There is no going back to the way things were. To stay relevant, modern instructional designers must advance their design solutions to keep pace with the dynamically evolving world of learning. Thank you for your time tonight. Have a great and wonderful day.